He's put on the weight really nice. So I think Islam right now is about 191 pounds. You know, it's solid 191. So we're not going to have an issue with the weight, you know, jumping up in weight.
Islam Makhachev's transformation ahead of UFC 322 has caught everyone off guard. According to his longtime coach, Javier Mendez, the reigning lightweight king isn't just stepping up to welterweight, he's bringing serious size with him. During a recent chat with Red Corner MMA, Mendez revealed that Islam now walks around at roughly 191 pounds, a major jump from the 180-pound range he used to carry when fighting at lightweight. What was once seen as a risky move up to 170 now looks a lot more balanced. Mendez admitted that he initially thought his fighter would be undersized compared to Della Maddalena, but after seeing Islam's current frame, that concern quickly disappeared. The Dagestani star has clearly built his body the right way, adding power without losing the sharpness that defines his game.
He was, let's face it, he was a fairly large lightweight as it was anyways, okay? Now, I don't think he's a small welterweight. I don't think he's a big welterweight. I think he's a average size welterweight at the present time.
Does it make you think like, is middleweight an option?
At the present time, you know, we have to get by Jack.
Yes.
And then we have to look and see what he wants. And if we don't get by Jack, I don't even want to think middleweight. I would like to think, if I'm going to think anything, I'm going to think get by Jack, then go after some title defenses. And once he gets by Jack, which that's what we're working for, I'm looking at a person that's going to be in the pound for pound best ever. You know, because he would have done something that no one has done. The record time, Anderson Silva, 16 fights, unbeaten, you know, a streak, and he would have done it winning 2 titles. So not many people are in that category. So, you know, we're going to have to talk about him in that category, you know, and I've always said it that this guy, he's so easy to train. He's good everywhere, and a lot of people underestimate how good he is. And when they get in there with him, it feels a different story. You know, like the guy can stand with you. He can take you to the ground and deal with you on the ground. And he's smart, and he listens to his coaches, all his coaches. Whatever his coach tells him to do, he go out and he does it.
With that detail out in the open, the excitement surrounding Makhachev's move to welterweight has only grown louder. The matchup with Maddalena has the entire MMA world debating whether Islam's dominance will carry into a new division, or if the Aussie's striking and composure will expose new vulnerabilities. And as always, fighters and analysts from across the sport have chimed in with their takes, some with full confidence in Islam's abilities, others betting that this weight jump could shake things up. Colby Covington was among the first to weigh in on the situation. From his point of view, Islam's step up to 170 means he'll finally face opponents closer to his own natural size, removing the physical advantages that often worked in his favor at lightweight. Even so, Covington didn't count him out. He recognized the way Islam blends his striking and grappling is something truly rare, the kind of mix that gives him a shot against anyone, but Covington also made it clear that this fight is unpredictable, and that very uncertainty is what makes it so intriguing for fans and fighters alike.
Islam versus JDM, what do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight?
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. You know, Islam, you know, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, you know, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, you know, he could definitely get the job done. But It's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
Israel Adesanya looked at the fight from a striker's perspective. Having spent years dealing with strong grapplers himself, he knows exactly how dangerous it can be to let someone like Islam dictate the pace. Adesanya figured that Maddalena's only real shot is to keep the fight standing, constantly breaking Islam's rhythm with sharp and disruptive strikes. But he also warned that Islam's strength lies in his ability to switch game plans in an instant. A single misstep could change everything, and Adesanya believed that for Jack to win, he'd have to stay locked in mentally every second of the fight. No breaks, no lapses, no mistakes.
Yeah. But, I mean, the bag got to him.
Look, we will give the first fight on the new contract is Jones, Tom Aspinall.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, while we're on...
Fuck, I'm usually overthinking everything. I don't know how I missed that, but yeah.
That's why we fight.
I'm usually like...
While we're in super fight chats, because you guys both know a lot about these two people, Della versus Islam. How are we feeling about that?
I think Della is going to get it done. I feel from talking to Tim and also seeing Della, and also I've only sparred Della once, like not really hard crazy, but, and I didn't try and take him down at all, but I've seen him at your gym sparring, and his scrambles are crazy.
Yeah, he's
Even
good
watching
scrambles.
him with Bilal as well, and Gilbert Burns. His scrambles are crazy, and I feel Islam would feel like he bit off more than he could chew once he gets in there with him, because when he puts some things on him, he's like, oh shit, I'm standing with this guy, I have to take him down. And then he tries, gets him down, and he gets back up, or he couldn't get him down, because he's a big dude. People don't realize how big Della is as well. He's solid. So I really
Dense, man, just dense.
Dense, yeah. Like when I felt, like I said, with
Yoel Romero added his own flavor to the discussion, focusing more on Maddalena's strengths than Islam's. The veteran praised the Australian's composure, cardio, and ability to stay calm under pressure, especially during his short-notice showdown with Belal Muhammad. To Romero, that fight proved Jack couldn't be easily broken. He acknowledged that Maddalena doesn't have the same wrestling background as Islam or other Dagestani fighters, but he believed the Australian has shown he can survive and adjust against elite grapplers. For Romero, that adaptability might be Maddalena's biggest weapon heading into UFC 322.
Yoel Romero gives his honest take. Yoel Romero just shared his thoughts on a potential showdown between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, and it's a must-hear. Romero believes that Maddalena, while being a big 170-pounder, might face a tough challenge against Makhachev's superior grappling. Do you think Jack's striking can beat Makhachev's grappling?
Gilbert Burns brought up a point many tend to overlook: the brutal effects of weight cutting. He viewed Islam's move up as a positive change, one that could free his body from the constant strain of draining down to 155. Burns argued that a fresher, stronger Makhachev could even be more dangerous. But he didn't ignore Maddalena's preparation either. The Australian isn't coming in blind. He's got brilliant minds like Craig Jones and Alexander Volkanovski helping craft his game plan.
Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're gonna have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much on that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating.
Robert Whittaker shared similar optimism about Islam's move, and from his perspective, cutting massive amounts of weight over and over eventually drains a fighter's long-term potential. Allowing Islam to carry his strength naturally could unlock an even better version of him. Whittaker compared it to what fans saw with Ilia Toporia's rise, a fighter who looked stronger and sharper after fighting closer to his real size.
Maybe. It's, I guess that's the million-dollar question. That's the question everybody's asking. And that's kind of the question. It's the same situation as Topuria as well. How good is Topuria? But what's he going to look like up weight division? Same with Islam. By all reports, though, The weight cut was really hard for him, like really, really hard. He's super strong for that weight division, which, you know, must translate well to moving up, making it a little bit easy cut. Maybe he gets a little bigger. It's yeah, I'm very that's the $1 million question.
Not everyone, however, is convinced that Islam's dominance will continue so smoothly. Demetrius Johnson, one of the most respected names in MMA history, sided firmly with the Dagestani but acknowledged the unique challenges that come with facing a natural welterweight. Johnson admired Islam's ability to set the tempo, pressure opponents, and blend his strikes into takedowns. He felt that those same tools would make him a nightmare for anyone, regardless of weight classes.
Who you got? Ilya, Islam.
I've got Makhachev.
I got Makhachev as well.
And I've got Makhachev second round TKO with a knee in.
Oh, yeah, you going bad rounds.
Yeah, I think he'll shoot a couple takedowns. Ilya will stuff it. Ilya will catch him a few times and people will go ooh and ah. And then when they clash again, I think Makhachev will go grab him. Yep. Ilya will think, oh, he's shooting again. Tight clinch, bang, body, knee to the head. Ilya's all of a sudden stumble, downhill from there. I think he beats Oliveira with a body shot.
Jorge Masvidal added a more measured take. He saw the positives for Islam: less weight, cutting, more strength, better endurance, but also warned that the jump to 170 could expose him to unfamiliar challenges. Bigger opponents hit harder, move differently, and react in ways that fighters from lighter divisions rarely do. Masvidal still couldn't overlook Maddalena's stunning win over Belal Muhammad, a performance that convinced him the Aussie has the timing and striking power to ruin Islam's plans if the opportunity presents itself.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for. Wow, that's impressive. You know, I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh really?
You know, but I really think it's gonna be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Belal.
Belal has the best cardio in MMA, but Belal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique. Not same. Very good, very aggressive. Belal never stops a dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. You know, Islam's level of wrestling is above. His stand-up game is improving. I don't think he could go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. But as the rounds go on later and later, he could do.
While most fighters analyzed the technical side of things, Sean O'Malley zoomed out to the bigger picture. He looked at the potential ripple effects that could follow this fight. A dominant win for Islam, O'Malley suggested, could open doors to massive future matchups. Maybe even something wild like a showdown with Ilia Topuria, but he also warned not to overlook Maddalena's unpredictability. The Australian fights with a wild streak, and if he manages to shut down takedowns, one explosive punch could instantly change the course of the fight, and potentially the entire division.
Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM taking on Islam Makhachev.
I still think Islam's skill for skill is just so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Belal was very impressive, made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing is underrated. That dude is slick. His kickboxing, his timing, like he's a high level black belt in every aspect of MMA.
Big belt. Who give him back?
Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilya versus Islam. Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and the fight's even bigger.
Ian Machado Garry, one of the more outspoken names in the sport right now, shared an interesting split opinion. He gave Islam credit for his growth and composure, but ultimately leaned toward Maddalena for one key reason: size. Garry pointed out that Maddalena is a natural welterweight, someone who couldn't dream of making 155, while Islam is still adapting to the division. That natural size difference, he argued, could allow Maddalena to absorb more, hit harder, and eventually land something decisive.
Who do you think wins, Jack or Islam?
It's such a tough one to talk about. Islam is phenomenal. He's good everywhere. Size matters. When you're talking about an extra 15 pounds, when you look at the size of Volkanovski versus Jack Della Maddalena, there's a big size discrepancy. And Volk gave him a good fight. And then Dustin Poirier, it wasn't absolutely completely dominant by Islam. It was a tough fight. Size is going to play a huge part. Even on the ground, I feel like Jack could get it done with just some clean boxing and good takedown defense. But I can absolutely see Islam coming in and doing what Islam does and going out there and just looks like the phenomenal mixed martial artist he is.
Carlos Prates, fresh off his own experience against Garry, agreed with that sentiment. He highlighted Maddalena's steady progress and improved defensive grappling, especially in how he handled Belal Muhammad's pressure. Prades didn't predict an easy fight, but he did believe that if Jack executed his game plan perfectly, he could edge out a decision victory. It would take composure, patience, and smart adjustments, but Prades felt the Australian had all those tools at his disposal.
The main event is also in your weight class, JDM and Islam. Who do you think is going to win that?
I think the favorite is Islam, but Jackie show like he grew up a lot as a fighter. Since he stopped fight now, he was a long time without fight, almost 2 years, and he got really good skills to fight Belal Muhammad, defense takedowns. So I think he's gonna win.
You think Jack is going to win?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think he wins a decision, or do you think he stops him?
I think decision is really hard fight.
You think Islam stays at 170 or he goes back?
If he lose, I don't know. It depends how he feels during the fight. How close is gonna be the fight, you know?
As UFC 322 draws closer, the anticipation keeps building. Makhachev's reputation as one of the most complete fighters in the world is on the line, while Maddalena has the chance to pull off a career-defining upset. Both men are stepping into new territory, Islam testing his power and endurance in a higher weight class, and Jack perhaps facing the most suffocating grappler he's ever encountered. For fans, it's not just another main event, it's a collision of styles, strategies, and legacies. And whether Makhachev's new 191-pound frame proves to be his greatest strength or his first real challenge, one thing is for sure, this fight is going to redefine both men's careers in a way few matchups ever do.